Hi students, welcome to VerandaRace, and today's session is a very special one because we are going to practice odd one out. So what is odd one out? Odd one out is basically out of 5 sentences you have to choose one which is odd one. It's a new kind of experience you are going to get today because yes, good morning Vishmitha, good morning Vishmitha Saminathan. It was buffering, but now it's not, I guess, right? Well, so today's session is odd one out, a new experience for you all. Let us start the session today. So odd sentences, day 19. So this is question number 1. I left some space here so that I can stand and you can see the question. I hope you all are able to see the question. Please interact with me. So the first question is this one, question number 1, in which we have 5 sentences and you have to find the odd one out. Which is odd one out? So would anybody like to try? Is it visible to you all? Good morning Kavya Rasu, good morning. So I'll move this way, right? Now you can see the question. I think everybody is able to see the question, right? Please respond. Okay. This is fine. Fine. So the question says, India voted on UNSC statements criticizing the Janta actions but abstained from a resolution that sought to curb the flow of arms into Myanmar. So how to solve questions of this kind? It's not a rearrangement, it's an odd sentence. It's not a rearrangement. Let me tell you, most of you must be confused between rearrangement and odd sentences. So let me tell you, this is not a rearrangement question, it's an odd sentence, right? Good morning, yes, it's visible. Fine, Vishmita. So how to find the question? How to find the correct odd one out? So we have only 10 questions today. It will take 1 hour to discuss, 1 hour, okay? Not less, a bit less than that, maybe 40 minutes is good enough. So, how to solve this kind of question? Let me take an up. I'll give you 2 minutes to solve it. I'll figure out how to solve this question. You take 2 minutes to find the answer. Give me the answer, okay? Give me the answer in 2 minutes. Two minutes you have, students, 2 minutes. Okay, what's the answer? Lakshana, Sherin, Vishmidha, very good morning. So what's the answer you have got? Give me the answer fast. Yes, Manjot Singh, good morning. So the hint is, I'll give you the answer. One is that we'll first mark the hints in the question. Mark the hints. Okay. So it is like abstain. India voted on UNSC statements criticizing the Janta actions, but abstained from a resolution that sought to curb the flow of arms will mark into Myanmar. This is something hint which is common in other sentences as well. Fine. India has also kept up all diplomatic links and even appointed a new ambassador to Yangon. Yangon is a part of Myanmar, making it clear that it's not downgrading its ties with its neighbor. So these two sentences are related because It says, first one sought to curb the flow of arms into Myanmar, and it is trying, India voted on the UNSC statements criticizing the Janta actions but abstained from a resolution. Abstain means it backed out from a resolution that sought to curb the flow of arms into Myanmar. Okay. Now, India has also kept up all diplomatic links and even appointed a new ambassador to Yangon, making it clear that it's not downgrading ties with its neighbor. So India has also discussed, made it clear that it's not downgrading ties with its neighbor, which is Myanmar. So these two sentences are related. So we can mark it as 1. These are related. D, somebody says. Okay. Now the C part. India has kept up COVID aid during this period, sending vaccines to Myanmar, and Foreign Secretary Shingla took another batch of 100,000 vaccines. Significantly, the government released no photo of Shingla meeting at MAH. And Indian companies like Bharat Electronics Limited has reportedly continued to ship radar components to that help in coastal surveillance and amongst others. So these 1 and D are related. A and D are related. You can see how. So curb the flow of arms into Myanmar. So it says A and D say related to the components or the arms and ammunitions. And let us read the E sentence. Indian companies that have taken the initiative of creating the dose for COVID apt for a huge supply are ready to comply with the government's take on the supply. Okay. So somebody says D, Sherin says D, Rakshana, okay, Kavya Rasu says D. Wait. So, well, D is the correct answer. Kavya Rasu and Sherin, D is the correct answer. I'll tell you why. Because this D sentence talks about the radar components that help in coastal surveillance amongst the others. So there is no link between actually A and D, because A says that India has abstained from the resolution wait. Let's relate A and D first. Wait. So here it says India voted on UNSC statements criticizing the Janta actions but abstained from a resolution that sought to curb the flow of arms into Myanmar. So India wants the flow of ammunition in Myanmar. Then in D it says Indian companies like Bharat Electronics Limited has reportedly continued to ship radar components. So A says flow of arms into Myanmar, and D says radar components into Myanmar. So A and D are related. The answer is E. E is the correct answer. I'll tell you why. E is the correct answer. So E says Indian companies that have taken the initiative of creating the dose for COVID apt for a huge supply are ready to comply with the government's take on the supply. So you see students, in E what it says is there is no relation with Myanmar. First of all, E does not have any relation with Myanmar. Again, government's take on the supply. So what's the government's take on supply? Supply of what? So there is no mention of what is the government's take on supply. So if you see, if you're trying to relate C and E, well, A and D are related, so two sentences are related which cannot be ruled out as odd one out. Plus B is related to A also, because India has also kept up all diplomatic links and even appointed a new ambassador to Yangon, making it clear that it's not downgrading ties with its neighbor. So A, B and D speak about relation with Myanmar. A, B and D speak about relation with Myanmar. In A it speaks about the movement of it has not abstained from the movement of arms and ammunition into Myanmar. D also says that the Bharat Electronics Limited has initiated, or it has done a lot of radar components into Myanmar. So A and D are related. Now if we talk about C, so C, A and D, and B says India has, apart from the supply of arms and ammunitions, India has also kept up all diplomatic links with its neighbor. So A, B, D are related. We are left with C and E. Because C and E have some common factor of COVID doses, right? So let us read C. India has kept up COVID aid during this period. So what is the period? The period is when India is improving its diplomatic ties, improving its supply of arms. So during this period. So this is the correct answer. So answer is E. So C is also related to A, B and D. So A, B, D, C are related, but E is out of the question because Indian companies that have taken the initiative of what is the use of Indian companies who have taken the initiative? We have talked about Bharat Electronics Limited, which has supplied radar components, which is again a part of B, which says A, which says they are not ready to curb the flow of arms and ammunitions. So E is the correct answer. Are you getting my point, students? Please respond. E is the correct answer, which is odd one out. Please respond. I'm sure it is clear to you all. A, flow of arms. D, flow of arms. B, diplomatic ties. C, COVID aid during this period. And E is like simply out of question because dose for COVID, huge supply, government's take on the supply. There is no related relation with this. Okay? Okay, fine, Manjot. Fine. Let's move ahead. Next question. I'll give you 1 minute to think because you have to think faster than I do. Okay. The relationship between modernity and the Renaissance has given rise to a variety of questions. Whether the Renaissance succeeded in resolving the social contradictions that existed in society is one important question. Why the Renaissance did not become trans-sectional and why it remained religion caste oriented is another. Is it that the Renaissance was expression of nothing more than an aggregation of upper caste social and religious interest, or was it a struggle to set up ideological differences among the ruling class and the masses? Is it a fair assessment that the Renaissance did not succeed in transgressing the limits set by the Brahminical ideologies? So this is the question. Smashing Shakti says the answer is E. Smashing Shakti says the answer is D. D. Srija says the answer is D. Tell me the answer. Well, Smashing Shakti, Srija, Manjot Singh, wonderful answer. The answer is D. But how did you come to this answer? I wish we could talk to each other. I wish we could talk to each other to discuss how we get to this answer. The answer is D, Shakti, Manjot Singh and Srija. The answer is D, 100% it's D. Okay, are you talking about the previous question? Is it about the previous question or this question? Well, so let us solve this question. Please answer this question, students. Well, I'll tell you how to find the clue and easy logic. Modernity. I will first mark the hints. Modernity and the Renaissance. It's talking about the relationship between modernity and Renaissance, and it has given rise to a variety of questions. And the questions are whether the Renaissance succeeded in resolving the social contradictions that exist in society is one important question. Why the Renaissance did not become trans-sectional and why it remained religion caste oriented is another. Religion caste, this is the hint. Religion caste. social contradictions is another hint. Trans-sectional means related to sections of the society, one section to another. These are the hints. Is it that the Renaissance was the expression of nothing more than an aggregation of upper caste, social and religious interests? So see, C and E are related. C and E are A, B, C, E. Manjot, it's not rearrangement. Okay, you're saying, correct. A, B, C, E are related. Perfect, Manjot. You're doing great. So A, B, C, E are related, and D is not a part of this 4 sentences. D is not a part of this sentence. Very good, Manjot. Very good. So let me tell you what D says, or Brahmanic ideology is related to C, because it tells about the upper caste, social and religious interests. So it's C and E are related. Again, B and C are related to each other. And A is absolute sentence. Absolute means it's a general sentence which says various questions arose because of the relation between modernity and Renaissance. Various questions arose actually. Has given rise to a variety of questions, and all these are questions. Only one question is out of context, which is the D one, which says it was a struggle to set up ideological difference among the ruling classes and masses. Ruling classes and masses? There is no talk about ruling class and masses. Especially the masses, there is no talk about that. So we are talking about the upper caste social and religious interest, which is Brahmanic ideologies. So C and E are related. A is the absolute sentence and B is the list of questions that start. Siddhant Saha, NHB. What is NHB? I'm not sure. Please tell me the acronym full form of the acronym. I'll let you know. It's basically for improving English in general, Siddhant. Well, Manjot, your answer is brilliant. Okay, Srija also these questions. Kishore said E. Srija and Manjot and Smashing Shakti, your answer is clear, very good. It's D, because D talks about the ruling class and masses, which is not at all related. See, today's class is all about mains level question. It's about odd sentence out is a mains level question. So I would suggest, don't worry, we generally discuss PT level questions, right? But today I thought of discussing this question because we have to find the hints in the sentences which are somewhat related to each other. When we find the hints or underline the hints, that makes us establish a relationship between the other sentences and finding the odd one out. Clear? So D talks about the ruling class and the masses. There is no use of ruling class and masses or the ideological differences. But E and C are related, upper caste and religious interest. B is the list of questions that start, and A is like the absolute sentence. So we'll move to the next question. Question number 3. Would anyone like to try this question? Question number 3. Okay, Kishore says, yes, Siddhant, it will help you a lot. Thank you, Kishore. Nation Housing Bank, exactly. Right, it's fine. National Housing Bank, perfect. For any banking examination, it is of great help. Siddhant, for any banking examination, it is of great help. Fine. Because banking examination asks questions of this kind. Basically, it's a mains level question that I'm discussing today. Okay, so please students, let me know the answer to this. Shrija, Siddhant, Kishore, Smashing Shakti, Manjot Singh, okay, Sharon, please answer this question. I'll stand here. We are discussing question number 3. We have only half an hour left, so please discuss fast. A, E are related, Manjot says. Okay. Manjot, think again. Let me go to that side. But that won't help actually. I'm waiting for answers. She just says A is odd one out. She just says A is odd one out. Okay, let me tell you. First, let us find the hints. Why did the most relevant sentence is, why did the historical literature on the evolution of modern India, it's a hint, evolution of modern India. So then you'll ask me, sir, how to find the hint? I'll tell you that also. Evolution of modern India, treat the Renaissance as, so Renaissance over here, Renaissance over here, Renaissance over here. 1, 2, 3 are related. I'll tell you how. Why did the historical literature on the evolution of modern India treat the Renaissance as an overarching means protruded. So something like this will be overarched. So why did the historical literature on the evolution of modern India treat the Renaissance as an overarching phenomena striding across the Indian society in the 19th and 20th century without much sensitivity to the fortunes of the marginalized? Very good. Marginalized means those who are from the underprivileged classes or the underprivileged castes. So this you can see, marginalized and marginalized. These two are related because A says, is it accidental that the university syllabus did not contain courses on the history of Dalits and the marginalized? Is it accidental that the university syllabuses did not contain courses on the history of Dalits and marginalized? Then B answers the question which says, why did the historical literature on the evolution of modern India? Same, it's parallel to each other. These two are parallel to each other. So A and B are related. Now C, an inquiry into the relationship between Renaissance and modernity, modern India, evolution of modern India, may provide answers to some of these questions. All these questions. The origin of modernity in India is often, again, modernity in India and modern in India. So in India is often attributed to the intellectual and cultural efflorescence associated with the Renaissance. So you see A, B, C are related. Now D. The Renaissance marked a period of transition in values, transformation in social sensibilities and rebirth in cultural creativity. Now let's move to E. It added to the meaning of giving an opportunity to the privileged class to write history in its own skewed and viewpoint point of view. Absolutely wrong. E is incorrect because what seems to be the correct answer is, after D, people will think that E will be the answer. After D, people will think that E is the answer because E is related, because you see it talks about Renaissance and then it's written it added to the. So E is out of context because E says the privileged class will write history of its own, the skewed history of its own. Skewed means kind of constricted, kind of congested history of its own. So E is totally incorrect. Because all these A, B, C talk about the single point of view of modern India, of the Renaissance, of the marginalized and all, and D says that it's a period of transition in values, transformation in social sensibilities and rebirth in cultural creativity. But E talks about the writing of history by the upper strata of the society in a skewed point of view. So E is out of question. Fine. Skewed means constricted. Constricted means if you see own skewed of one. Skewed means related to one, or kind of you can say self-centered, or you can say constrained, conservative, conventional. Are you getting my point? You smash Shakti, you can see on Google as well, but I'm sure the meaning is constricted, constrained, restrained, conservative, conventional, stereotyped, hackneyed, all this point of view. So constricted means self-centered, self-centric. Okay. Okay. So this is the answer. E is the correct answer. Let's move to the question number 4. So this is question number 4 for you. Question number 4. Siddhant, it is basically odd one out. Odd one out. Out of these 5 sentences, one is odd. One is odd. There is no rearrangement or something like that. It's an odd sentence. You get in the mains examination, SBI or IBPS PO, you get the sentence as you have to find the odd one out. Generally a mains level question. Okay, Siddhant? So you have to find the odd one out. So this is question number 4. So which is the odd one out in this question? Siddhant, you have to answer first. Okay, Shrija, thank you for helping Siddhant. Thanks a lot. So the question is finding the odd one out. Okay, should I tell you the hints? So are you getting my point how to solve questions of this kind? You have to find the links and find the important things which need to be highlighted. Okay. So we'll give an overall view of the question. We'll just see the overall view and find some links are related. You have seen this movie Beautiful Mind, right? So in that Russell Crowe, Dr. John Nash, he sees the numbers and decides which are related like this. He does like this. So in this case, you have to see the entire question and you have to find the links that match with each other. So yeah, it's a kind of bit of a sixth sense that helps you in doing these questions. Otherwise, you can read the entire thing and find the links related to each other. Links. For example, I tell you how to solve this question. Manjot Singh says B. Manjot very close. Kishore Shiva says B. Okay. Siddhant Saha says B. It's so easy question, students are not able to answer. I'm surprised. It's such an easy question. Try to solve this question fast. I'll give 1 more minute, 60 seconds. So it's 11:39. I'll wait for the answer 11:40. Only 1 minute. Such an easy question, you see. It's only we have reached only question number 4. What is this? I'll stand like this. Smashing Shakti says A. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Fine. It's 11:40. So you see, it's written. So Shakti, it's not rearrangement. Wonderful, Kishore, correct answer. C is the correct answer, Kishore. Kishore, correct answer. C is the correct answer. So you can see over here, Does any part of the all the sentences talks about communism? No. None of the sentences talks about communism except C. C says the rise of communism can be attributed to the development of a class of people who were much delved into the aesthetics. This is totally absurd sentence. So how can we say the rise of, you need not check the other sentences as well. You need not check the other sentences as well. You can just see the rise of communism can be attributed to the development of a class of people who were much delved into aesthetics. Aesthetics means beauty, the study of beauty. So you can see Rakshana, yes, C is the correct answer, Kishore, C is the correct answer. So this sentence is totally out of context. There is no use of this sentence, you see. This sentence is totally out of context. I will not even discuss this question because it talks about something else. Communism and aesthetics, how they are related. Can you feel that they are related? I will not discuss this question further, please. We have to discuss 5 more questions, 6 more questions. Fatafat. Ready? So we have question number 5. I won't give you time, I'll discuss straightforward because your learning is more important, right, than you're discussing. If you can give fast answers, give it to me. Rakshana, absolutely correct. Kishore, Shiva, absolutely correct. So, you can see the question number 5. With the growth of capitalism, the modern assumed different hues. Therefore, what we mean by modern became a matter of debate. So, this is kind of introductory sentence. Modern here means, so these are related. Modern here means the developed thought that the level of education provided to the people of that period. A seminal question is whether, okay, wait. With the growth of capitalism, the modern assumed different hues. The modern assumed different hues, different colors. Therefore, what we mean by modern became a matter of debate. Okay. Modern here means the developed thought that the level of education provided the people of that period. This is very easy question. You see, there will always be easy questions in odd sentences. Shija says D. No, the answer is B. Answer is B because it talks about the level of education. Modern has been defined on the base of education, which has nowhere mentioned in the passage. What's the definition of modern says? Modern here means the developed thought that the level of education provided to the people of that period. What is this? Are we talking about education anywhere else? Because in A also it talks about capitalism. In B it talks about the capitalism. In C it talks about the phenomenon that came from the West through the instrumentality of colonial rule, which was responsible for the capitalism in the country. Again, dominant opinion initially generated by colonial rulers. So these two are related. These two are related. But education, level of education, this is absurd. So I won't discuss it further. The answer will be B. Pavitra says D. Answer will be B. B is the correct answer. Fine. So modern here means a developed thought that the level of education for the people of that period. What is this? Well, I have created the questions, I know. So I cannot say my questions are absurd. Okay, they mean something, but generally you have to find the link that A and C are related, D and E are related, and this is B is absolutely absurd, ridiculous. Question number 6. So what is there in the question number 6? Listen to me. This sentence is fixed. This sentence is fixed. This is a part of the paragraph. Now B, C, D, E. So the options are, which is the odd one out? So B, C, D, E, and none is odd. None is odd. So these are the options. A is fixed. A is fixed. B, C, D, E, or none is odd. So A is fixed and rest you have to find whether B is odd, C is odd, D is odd or E is odd or none is odd. A is fixed. Nobody is answering, so I'll tell the answer. So what A says, this is easier question, you see. A says something. A says, as such, the changes that were ushered in during the colonial domination, the change that were brought about in the colonial domination in administrative organization, transport and communication, commercialization of agriculture and so on are described as modernization. So modernization has been described over here. Fine? Well, such changes were part of colonial modernity in the sense that, okay, such changes in what? Administrative organization, transport and communication. So B is related to A. It is under, we need not study entire sentences. Once we find the hint, we will move further. It is understandable that the official readings left out of the colonial part, implying thereby that the changes in economy, society and culture were part of progress towards modernity. This is also related to this sentence. The new Indian middle class, nurtured by the liberal English education, internalized this myth. This myth, what is the myth? The myth is that the changes in economy, society and culture were part of progress towards modernity. But the new Indian middle class, nurtured by the liberal English education, internalized means they internalized. Okay, this is a good word. Internalized means to bury, I guess, bury. Internalize means to, so if I internalize something, let me check. The new Indian middle class, nurtured by the liberal English education, internalized this myth, buried. So if you put something which is obsolete in use, it becomes internalized. This myth and gave credence means value, more value to it through the example of its own modern life. Okay, so this is something which looks as odd one out, but let's check the E one. In the event, what is considered modern today came to be identified with the type of progress achieved by the West, of which colonial modernity was in fact a caricature. So these two are related to each other. You can see over here, because D talks about anyone. Who is this Victoria Wilkinson and all? Who does none? Correct. Siddhant is correct. None is the answer. None is odd. All are related to each other. So we are running a bit slow, so I'll have to move forward fast. You just look at the question. So the answer is none is odd. All are part of the sentence, part of the paragraph. This is a big question, question number 7. Let's come back to question number 7 later because it's a big question. We'll move to question number 8. It's a smaller one. Okay. Question number 8. Question number 8, what's the answer I'll tell you, but let us discuss it further because I have to end the class by 12. I have another class, so we'll discuss 3 more questions plus 4th question, 7th question, okay. So its beginning is traced to the efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Roy in Bengal to ameliorate the condition of the life of women and to reform religious practices, okay. In North India, it took the root in the activities of Dayanand Saraswati, and in Maharashtra in the Pratna Samaj founded by M.G. Ranade. In Andhra Pradesh, the movement was initiated by Veera Salingam. A defining feature of all these movements, the people who happen to be the beneficiaries were only the upper class people. It's a very easy question, students, very easy question. You see, it talks about some movement which was initiated by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Dayanand Saraswati, Veera Salingam. Of all these movements, these are related to each other, and E says the people who happen to be its beneficiaries. So how can you say some social movement would help only the upper class people? This is absolutely rubbish. So the answer will be E. E is the correct answer. So what's the meaning of this? English like Parungo bro apot than vocabulary improve pranalam. I didn't understand. Smashing, could you please elaborate the meaning of this in English? Smashing Shakti. Could you please write what you have said in English? Smashing Shakti, please write in English, okay? So this is what E is the correct answer. Now question number 9. Shakti, I would like you to know what you're saying. Please. So the answer to question number 9 would be, so this is fixed and the options are A, B, C, D. Sorry. Answers are B, C, D, E and none. None means none is odd. Okay, Pavitra says he's asking you to teach in Tamil, sir. Okay, I'll try my level best. Pavitra and Shakti, I'll try to teach in Tamil very soon. Give me some time, okay? I'll try my level best. Okay, so this sentence is fixed. This sentence is fixed. Now we have to find the sentence which is odd one out. So this is fixed. So let us read this sentence. It was believed that once society was rid of irrational practices, all other dimensions of national life would be automatically solved. So we'll move to this question later on. Let's solve the question number 10 first. So 7 and 9 will be left because it will need a thorough understanding of the entire passage. Thorough understanding. Let's move to 10 number. We'll come back to 9 and 7. Please understand what I'm saying. So question number 10, there is nothing fixed. So we have to find the odd one out. 7 and 9 will be solved now only. Don't worry. Because it was a very complex kind of question, so I'll move to this. So this sentence says, in the historiography of modern India, the Renaissance is generally marked as the pre-political phase of the anti-colonial struggle. So the Renaissance. Nationalism can be defined as the identification of one's own nation and support of its interests, especially in the exclusion of detriment of the interests of the. So this is, let us mark this. Hence, nationalism is conceptualized as a natural outcome of the Renaissance. Okay. Manjot Singh says C. Manjot, perfect answer. C is the correct answer. So the question number 10, the answer is C. I'll tell you how. Okay. Darshini also says C is the correct answer. Darshini, correct answer. So the correct answer is C. I'll tell you why. Because in A, it talks about the Renaissance. You see, the Renaissance marked as the pre-political phase of anti-colonial struggle. Okay. Next, in B, it talks about the social and religious movements that are described as the Renaissance, and this preceded the political struggles. These struggles were before the political struggles and are considered as a necessary precursor to the coming of nationalism. So what are the precursors? The social and religious movements termed as the Renaissance, which were before the political struggles and were necessary precursor, means that happened to cause the nationalism, the coming of nationalism. So the Renaissance was the cause of coming of nationalism. Okay. Now you see, nationalism can be defined as the identification with one's own nation and there is no use of this definition, I'm telling you, because it's not related to the paragraph. Because here it says nationalism is conceptualized as the natural outcome of the Renaissance. Wonderful, wonderful. So B and D are related. How come? So in B it says Renaissance happened before nationalism, and nationalism is defined as the outcome of Renaissance. So B and D are 100% related, and what E says, a departure from this view, quite critical for Renaissance studies, had to wait until a strict periodization of historical time came to be questioned. So you see, if you see a departure from this view, what is the view? That Renaissance happened before nationalism. Nationalism was an outcome of Renaissance, but C gives a general view about nationalism, the definition of nationalism. If you could see, I took this question from Google, not Google, this definition of nationalism from Google. The question is created by me only, but this definition I took from Google and pasted on it. So it gives a general view about nationalism. If you could see, the nationalism is defined there only. So this is Incorrect. Odd one out. Fine. You won't find this question anywhere, but nationalism definition can be found on Google. Fine. I mean, Ithila Ena Panna Konjam Puriam. Benila. Benila says something. Okay. So C is the correct answer. Very good. Darshini Guru, Shweta D. Gidhi, C is the correct answer. So now we have only 4 minutes left, and in 4 minutes we'll discuss 2 questions. 9 number. So you see, if we go by the unitary method, all the questions which we have done, which were first sentence was fixed, the answer was none. So this also has the answer is none. So let me discuss this with you. It was believed that once society was rid of irrational practices, all other dimensions of national life would be automatically solved. Okay. It was believed that once society was rid of means removed from irrational practices, all other dimensions of national life would be automatically solved. Very good. In their view, solving the internal social weakness was the immediate need, and once it was achieved, it would not take a long time for the political problem to be solved. Although the awareness of the alien rule lurked in the minds of many and found occasional expression, albeit. Okay, this will be homework for you because I have less time. We have only 3 minutes, so please take a screenshot of this if you can. I don't know how to take. You can solve and you can give me the answer tomorrow. Okay, no problem in that. I can discuss this question, but it will take some time. At least 3 or 4 minutes it will take. But there's a less time. Okay, so let's move to the 7 number question, please. I'm sorry, students, because there's a dearth of time. We discussed 10 long questions, right? And I explained each question very well. I'm sure I explained each question very well. So let's move to the 7 number question. This is easy one, I guess. 7 is, the railways, the system of communication and secular educational facilities were prime examples, but the colonial rule was not an instrument of modernization but an instrument of exploitation. Okay. Colonial rule, instrument of modernization, instrument of exploitation. So colonial rule was not an instrument of modernization but an instrument of exploitation. This is understood. Then impoverished means it made the natural resources poor because we are talking about exploitation. Undermine its traditional industries. Undermine means it devalued its traditional industries and unsettled its cultural life. So it's talking about the country which it was in. So India maybe. It also impacted adversely on the cultural, social, and so these two are related. The beginning of modernity was heralded not by the arrival of the West in India but by the onset of the social and religious reforms, which is popularly called the Renaissance. So it's an introduction to Renaissance. So this is related. So oncoming modernization was not done by the oncoming of the English people but by the onset of the social and religious reforms. So the West came to India was not Renaissance. The West, the English influence was not Renaissance, but the Renaissance was the social and religious reforms, which is popularly called the Renaissance, following the European experience. So we are not talking about India, so I'm sorry for that. So the Western influence was not Renaissance, the social and cultural changes was Renaissance. So this is beginning of modernity, which we have talked about in A, not an instrument of modernization. So, but reform is not Renaissance, which in fact is the expression of a much larger social and intellectual awakening. So reform is much larger social and intellectual awakening. So you see, B says the exploitation of human resources by the colony had many unprecedented shortcomings. So this exploitation of human resources, so we have told you earlier that in A it talks about the exploitation, but it's not about the exploitation of human resources. It's exploitation of natural resources, traditional industries, cultural life, cultural, social and political life. So this is exploitation of that. So the answer would be, question number 7, the answer would be B. B is out of context. So let me tell you one thing, students. No, the answer is B. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever these questions come, try to find a general statement which is out of context because it defines the question in general. That would not be the answer. So I think we have taken 1 hour time and it's 12:01. So not exactly 1 hour, but my time is over for the class. So I would love to say goodbye to you, but would expect you all to come tomorrow as well to the class. Be present and answer and interact with me. Thanks a lot. Well, with this, I'd like to end the class, students. Thank you all for watching VerandaRace channel. Thanks a lot.